What's up, world? Welcome to a new episode of the Brandon Janeau Show. As you know, I am Brandon Janeau, and like always, on all podcast platforms everywhere. Brandon Janeau Show. Social media platforms: Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, Brandon Janeau Show, and YouTube channel, Brandon Janeau Show. Man, this is where you can find the visual episodes of this. You go there, you comment, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can like the videos, man. Hit the notification button if you haven't already for new episodes when they drop or clips that when they come out. Uh, yeah, let's get into it, man. Welcome to 2024. This episode is technically coming out in 2024, but I was like, I'll probably sleep on New Year's Day at some point. So, happy New Year's. I hope you guys are enjoying your New Year's. Um, this is officially the first episode of season 10 of then every year I do a theme episode, and I was just trying to record this episode, and wasn't I feel like I was just saying shit, uh you know just a filler, trying to find the words to really comprehend what I want to say. And I think what I want to say is just personally, like, 2024 is a different year for me. Like, as a person, man, as a person, you know not just career wise with this podcast, but my podcast, you know, turns 5 in September of 2024. I will be a podcaster for 5 years in 2024. At some point during 2024, I'll be hitting 500 episodes of my podcast, which is crazy as shit to think of. And more importantly, man, this is the 10th season of my podcast. And this is the first time in my podcast I am devoting an entire year to um, to one particular season. It's gonna be season 10. I might have a part one and part two. I don't know. Part one will be just in the fall, and then part two will be, well, spring, winter, fall, spring, winter, spring, winter, spring. Maybe then, like, y'all know, the summer, fall. You know what I'm saying? They close out the year with something different. I don't know, but last season, man, I did 101 episodes of my podcast, man, and it's crazy. And I started saying this, and it's true that 2024 is different for me. It feels already different. Like, it feels like everything I've been working for, towards, whatever you want to call it, is starting to kind of connect. Um, no, I don't have crazy subscribers on YouTube or thousands of followers on Instagram or some shit like that, but it's connecting in the senses of I feel that people are starting to gravitate towards it, and that's all you want, man, in this world, man. Especially nowadays, where there's more people that will just that champion you until they feel like you got to the point where they could now tear you down. And it's a and I've always said, man, that's a scary feeling to know that at some point somebody's gonna look at you and be like, they were championing you, they were fucking with you, they loved you, and they was like, oh man, I love your shit, and then someday they gonna hear something, and then they gonna think it was like so out of character from you or something. It's like, no, nigga, I've been saying this shit. You just ignored you just heard what you wanted to hear, or you ignored it because you wanted to believe in whatever narrative you wanted to sell yourself on, to say I was, the underdog or the dark horse or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And man, I've been, you know, trying to figure out when the fuck am I gonna record again? and I was like, I'm gonna do it on Tuesday, which I am gonna do it. I'm gonna get back to doing my usual programs on Tuesday. I'm gonna try to knock down 2 episodes tonight, but my usual programs will be back on Tuesday. I'll be recording I Bleed Sports. I'll be back recording Life and Times with Music, which I am looking forward to doing now, and that's gonna be fun. Tonight I will be doing this episode and another episode, Wrestling Life. Um, I'll be doing point of view of random shit Tuesday as well, and it kicks off the week of episodes I have. You know, a string of episodes, which will go into the last week of the NFL season, which I bleed black and gold, which is my show that I do for the Saints, and I won't be doing one this Sunday because depending on how the game goes, if they win, then great, but I don't really, and if they lose, then great too. It is what it is. Um, but to be man, to get to this point now where I've always said, man, to dictate what I want to do is is crazy, man. And 2024 is different, not just with my career. I said that earlier. It's not just my career that feels different going into 2024. I feel different going into 2024. I've been optimistic about a lot of shit. I've realized the last year and a half. I'm not too I'm not too, you know, worried about what the future holds, which I've been getting better at. I can't plan for the future if I don't know what I'm gonna be tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? But personally, I feel different, and maybe that's because in 2024 I'll be 30 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like I turned 30 at the end of January. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be probably doing a birthday, depending on where I'm at. Let me say that. Depending on where I'm at, if I'm in Houston or not, I'm gonna probably try to do my birthday episode sometime in that stretch of work. Um, but yeah, man. Man, I've been fortunate, man, in my life to be um in control of what I want to do in my life, and to get and the craziest thing about this is like it wasn't like I was, because the website I use. Oh shit, I want to say this. So the last episodes that last episode I recorded and I put out before Christmas and a New Year's break and shit. Uh, I didn't, I don't really I use only a certain couple podcast platforms to, use play it and then I like post it on social media and stuff. So I think one of the platforms is Tripping that I use for all my podcasts, right? And when I say, my podcast on all podcast platforms and shit, when I said at the beginning, it's the first thing I say at the beginning of these episodes. But to physically go and like see, you type in your name, BrandonJaneauShow, and you see it, and it pops up, and it's your background in the cover art, and it's like, oh shit, like that is that's a real like it's really on all podcast platforms. That was just so crazy to see because I said, but then it to say it, and I feel like I'm lying to y'all because I say that shit so much, and I'd be like, yeah, it's on all podcasts. But I don't fucking know that shit for real. I'll be honest, I don't know that shit for real, man. So to physically see that it is on all podcast platforms, I don't have to like act like, you know, that's just something I'm supposed to say to be a podcast. Like it's on all podcast platforms. Like to physically see it is pretty fucking crazy. Like I was like, holy shit. The only thing I was not on, and I think I gotta kind of like, I guess, write letters and shit. I gotta probably ask my brother DC about it, but it's like iHeartRadio. I think it's not on. Well, I don't know. I ain't checked Pandora, but I haven't been on Pandora since I was like in middle school. So, 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 but yeah, man, that was just something trippy. I was just like, wow, that shit's crazy. Like that shit, like I said, and then you actually physically see it. It's like, oh wow, my shit is really on all podcast platforms. Like that is Damn, man, that's crazy to say that and see it, man. And that's, I guess, what I'm trying to say, man. It's like saying it, manifesting it was crazy. When I started this podcast, man, I never really. It was therapy. I say that a lot, and sometimes, yeah, I kind of get tired of saying that, but it's true, man. Because I started this podcast thinking, like, man, I'm just doing this podcast. Like, I didn't know how to do a podcast. I didn't know how to create anything to this magnitude, bro. I literally my cover art for season one of my podcast was literally a picture of me with my old Beats headphones on, and it was a picture of me, and I was in my old house, and I was in the window, and the light was shining through. And I had like a great thermal because my fucking house was cold at the time, and or maybe it was just my room. But anyway, it goes. I was in my room, and I took the picture, and it was a picture I just posted on social media, and I liked the picture, and I was like, this should have worked, and that's exactly what it was, man. And YouTube also, like I had a YouTube channel. I didn't have anybody on it. Some family. My mom would probably be like, "Oh, such and such started to follow you. That's up. Subscribe to your YouTube channel. That's cool." My sister and everything. And to see now where that's even at, like every time I get on things and do something, man, even TikTok, anything I do now, man, it's an honor and a privilege, man, to have people that even want to listen to what I say and take what I say and appreciate what I say. Something I've learned as I've also becoming. I got more and more, you know, fucking confident in myself is I'm starting to comment on shit that I see from a lot of amazing creators, either be on TikTok or YouTube or wherever it is. And I said something at the end of last season, a couple of episodes before the end of last season. And I said, man, I gotta get back to showing love to these podcasters and people that I fuck with. So that's what I've been doing for the most of the end of this year, going into this upcoming year, and hopefully I continue to do that more and more. It's just show people love, man. There's a lot of great dope podcasters that I have, bumped into on there. People that I've just always shown love to, but I haven't done it in a long time. And it's just shit like that, man. So that's another thing. Like because you're showing love and you're supporting people, they might be podcasting with somebody else and they see and the person they podcast with might see that and be like, wow, who's this? And they start looking at your shit that way. And it's crazy how life goes, man, sometimes. And again, I don't planning for something like this is something that you don't get all the time. And I've worked, man, for 5 years going into 2024. It'll be my 5 year anniversary in, September. But for 4.5 years, I put something together. This podcast, man. Like I said, every year when I start a season, recently, it's been theme seasons, right? And this is always the theme episode. The first episode of the new season is always a theme. It's always something new. It's always something what I can, what am I now trying to not only, share with people, but share with myself and try to, evolve and get better as a person. And I've been racking my fucking brain for like the last couple of fucking days on what I'm gonna name season 10 because, like I said, this is the first full season of the entire year, 365 days starting January 1st when this episode drops. It will be the full 10 season. It will be the entire 2024 because again, I turned 30 in 2024, so that's already a milestone. My podcast is in its 10th season, which going back in 2019, I probably would have never done 2 seasons, let alone 10. I'm hitting 500 episodes at some point during this season. And like I said, 5 years of podcasting. Like it's crazy to even put that into perspective. Like, and I kind of like, okay, what am I gonna theme this episode, this season? What's this theme of this season? And I've come to realize, man, that my theme this season is simple. And it's a simple thing. It's for 30 years. I try to figure life out. My biggest concern of life has always been, why am I still here? It's always my biggest concern. Um, why am I still here? Why am I the one? And I get really in that mindset, especially when it comes to my birthday. Like when it comes around my birthday, like that day particularly. At some point, I just want to sit and just like, you know, sit and just look, at the go somewhere and just sit for a second and just clear my mind and be like, wow, like another year, bro. You made it. You saw another year. That's crazy. And I think that's the theme of this season, man. I made it. I made it. I made it to see another year. I made it to do another podcast episode. I made it to do another podcast week, podcast season. I made it. And life, simply put, my evolution to the person I've become, still in progress, but the person I am now, I'm pretty cool with this person. Can it be better? Of course it can. Everything in life could be better. But for where I'm at right now, man, I'm in a pretty good place, man. Experience balance, man. I'm experiencing balance. That's good. So welcome to season 10. Hope you guys enjoyed this season, like you've enjoyed the last nine. um, if you're now just listening to me, appreciate it. Thank you, listen. Thank you for listening. And if you've been listening to me for a little bit of time, you already know what time it is. Yeah, man. So welcome to season 10. Happy New Year. Hope you guys enjoying it. Some of y'all got your New Year's resolutions, which y'all are probably going to end in 20 days. But hey, man, stick. I'm probably going to end this New Year's resolution in 20 days. You're not going to even keep it for too long. But, you know, and that's another thing. My New Year's resolution is always the same every year. My New Year's resolution is the same every damn year. The things I did good last year, keep going. The things that I didn't pretty much do really that well at, hopefully I get better at it. And the things I truly just don't want to even think about anymore, I will leave it in the year that I was the worst in. So, when that shit really crept up on me. So, yeah. So, welcome to season 10. Welcome to a new year. I'm Brandon Janeau. It's the Brandon Janeau Show. Peace.